Alright everybody, welcome back to Red Embrace. That's right, the epic romantic vampire game with Dominic the puppy. We're gonna get the good ending for this time, I promise. So we're just gonna jump right back in. Try to get there. Yeah, last time didn't go so well. Oh, that's right, we were just talking to freaking Isaac. He's like, oh, I don't bite, or do I? Alright. I don't know what Isaac did, but I've got some kind of awful migraine now. Maybe it's from his cologne. Christ, why do I keep meeting all these weirdos? This is too much crap for one night. Maybe Troy slipped some kind of acid into my burger earlier. Bet. Sorry, thought I heard something. Yeah, that's gotta be the only explanation here. My boss obviously slipped acid into my food. That's the only explanation I can think of. Yep. Shaking my head, I shiver and start hurrying home, keeping an eye out for any of the bad types Isaac mentioned. Luckily, I don't see anyone else on my way back, except for the occasional stray cat or homeless guy on a bench. I don't think I've ever been so relieved to step into my old cold apartment, which feels like some kind of holy sanctuary right now. No creeps or huffy brats, just the comfort of my creaky bed and the flickering light from my old TV. Everything will be back to normal tomorrow. I doubt. Yeah, today was just a fluke. I try to comfort myself with those words as I throw off everything except my briefs, then flop onto the bed sheets with an exhausted groan. Normally I wouldn't complain about running into a bunch of good-looking guys, but there was something off about all of them. I can't put my finger on it, but I have a bad feeling in the pit of my stomach. Like I accidentally peered into some kind of world I wasn't supposed to see. Well, it doesn't matter. Tomorrow will be the same old, same old. I hope. Argent Games. Argent Games. No, we already watched you. I would love to watch you again, but I'm not gonna. Sorry, I'm sorry. He's waking up. I gotta make Sasuke as dramatic as possible. Ugh, son. Son, fuck off. He's gonna fight the sun. I love it. Same Sasuke. I bury my face against my pillow to hide from the sunlight. Damn, it must already be afternoon. Stupid graveyard shift makes it so hard to catch a decent amount of rest, unless you sleep underground or somewhere away from a window, like a vampire does. Maybe I should invest in a coffin. Looks at the camera. Winks. More style points than a sleeping mask, that's for sure. Groaning, I eventually force myself out of bed and stumble over to the kitchen to put on some coffee. Work doesn't start for a while yet, so I can do a little freelancing today. I'm only working at the diner to save up some money on the side anyway. My real passion is... I think I picked writing last time? Seems it's gray though, is that important? I don't know. I'm gonna do writing again. I don't think it matters. Music, art. You know what, let's do something different. Let's do art this time. Ever since I was a little kid, there were always a bunch of fantastic creatures and places I wanted to draw. I've gotten good enough to make some money from commissions now and then, but there are so many great artists out there who are better than me. I'm doing my best to improve, hoping that eventually people will say, I recognize that artist, rather than, what weird anatomy. Anyway, I have some time to spare, so I plop down in my office chair with a coffee mug in hand. What should I draw? Draw Dominic. But the moment I stare at my computer screen, I suddenly remember what happened last night. Back on that dark street. You might even see a friend of yours there. Or maybe customer is a better word. Isaac was acting like he knew something about me, or someone I know, even though that should be impossible. There was something unnerving about what he said afterwards, but I can't really remember his words. It's all fuzzy. I'm starting to think that it's not some random drug deal going down tonight. A smart man would keep his distance, but if I don't figure out what Isaac meant, it's gonna drive me crazy. That sleazeball in a suit is up to something, that's for sure. I put my head down on my desk and rub my eyes with one hand. I guess there's no helping it, huh? I'll have to see for myself what'll happen tonight. Distracted by my own thoughts, I spend the rest of my time until my shift half-heartedly working on a new project. After what feels like forever, it finally gets dark and I head out to start my shift. But during my walk, I can't help feeling a lot more nervous than normal. Troy left this morning for a business trip, so I'm the only one who's working tonight. And if anything happens, I'll have to deal with it entirely on my own. Great. He's like, oh good, I love dealing with problems on my own. The diner seems unusually quiet, even for the night shift. Only a couple people end up stumbling in over the course of a few hours, and midnight ticks over into the early morning. I grow more and more tense until finally I can't take it anymore. Time to close up early. Sorry, Troy. Grabbing my keys, I flick off all the lights and leave the diner, locking it up behind me. Then I make my way to the nearby alley where Isaac came from last night. But it's empty. No gangsters, no men in suits. Just a deserted hangout for rats and abandoned garbage cans. Sasuke's like, suspicious. Maybe I missed the meeting, although I should have heard gunfire if there was any. I guess they might not be here yet, but I really don't want to wait around in this creepy place for very long, especially not alone. I should probably just head home. That's a sensible thing to do, yeah. After a few more seconds of deliberation, I turn back towards the alleyway entrance. I'm not sure why I feel so disappointed. Gotcha! Oh no, it's Rex! Out of nowhere, someone grabs my shoulders. A second later, my back slams against the wall and a pair of strong arms pin me in place. I just think there should be like rock music every time he shows up. Hey, hey, hey! You're not one of those dumbass Theyre guys. You're a human. Two wide, puzzled eyes scan over my face like I'm some kind of mutant. A human? Of course I'm human. What else could I be? I don't understand. I break off halfway through my sentence, staring at my attacker. This red-haired guy has a tattoo on his face and is wearing a distinctive leather jacket. Could he be the person that man from last night was talking about? Whoa, why are you getting all mad, man? You're just not the guy I was looking for. He flashes me a wide, taunting grin. My eyes are drawn to the shape of his canines, which look just like an animal's. Long, sharp, and bone white. You know, you smell pretty nice. Kinda special, actually. Real sweet. He leans in a bit, leering at me with those sharp fangs. They have to be some kind of body mod, right? I'm pretty hungry, too. Haven't eaten all night, and you're looking so much better every second. Shit, if I don't do something, this creep will really take a bite out of me. How about you don't touch me, or I'm gonna have to headbutt you in the nostrils? Let's reason with him. Look, man, I don't taste that delicious. I mean, look, I'm bony. I'm mostly coffee. Hey, wait, hold on. If you're hungry, I can make you something. My diner's right down the... No, I don't want you to make me shit. After the redhead cuts me off, a greedy look flickers in his eyes. Nah, I want you. With a deep growl, he licks his lips, pressing his face closer and closer to my neck. Could you not? Listen, this is a Rex-free zone. Out of my bubble. Please. I shut my eyes tightly, holding my breath. This is it. I'm gonna get torn apart by some psycho in an alleyway. His ragged breathing grows steadily louder, and I can feel each exhale brushing against my throat. Oh, Rex got pulled off. He's like, oh. Sorry. All of a sudden, the pressure pinning me to the wall vanishes. When I open my eyes, I realize the man's no longer there. No, he's still there, but now, you. Kyaw. With a loud grunt, a familiar man in a dark jacket swings his fist toward my attacker. Fucking Dominic. I knew you were out here. I was just biding my time. He's like, sure you were. Fucking dipshit. The redhead lets out a gleeful laugh as he dodges the punch, moving at an incredible speed. A second later, he aims a lightning-fast blow of his own towards the other man, Dominic. With an unchanging expression, Dominic smoothly sidesteps. The next moment, his hand shoots out to swipe at his opponent's face. Oh, wow, you fucking... I hear the sound of something sharp cutting flesh, and a moment later, blood starts to drip from the redhead's cheek. I like to bleed. Dom, you're really mad. Wow. Rather than counterattacking, the tattooed man pauses, wiping off the blood on his sleeve. My character Sasuke is like, what the fuck? But before my very eyes, the claw-like gashes on his skin start to repair themselves, until they disappear completely, leaving him uninjured. Am I going crazy? There's no way any human could do something like that. No, this has to be a bad dream. Just a bad, shitty dream. Don't tell me you're worked up because of this guy. Seriously? You want to drain him that bad? Enough. Don't bring him into this. Dominic's eyes narrow into slits as he stares at the man in the leather jacket, who's laughing as if he just heard the best joke on earth. Wow, in that case, I'm gonna get my hands on him first. Because I want to see you get way madder, Dom. Rather abruptly, the tattooed man's face freezes, and his grin fades to a frigid, bloodthirsty expression. I want to see you suffer. Until you stop thinking of us as a fucking joke. Just like that, he charges Dominic again, recklessly swinging frantic punches. This time, though, he seems to be moving even faster than before, and his strikes are full of rage. Dominic, it's time to, backpedal. The assault is so powerful that Dominic retreats a little, losing a few feet of ground to the other man, who's clearly fueled by fury. That's something that I learned when I took my self-defense class, is that, you always want to back up when someone swings at you, because it's better... See, if you step forward and take a punch, you're going to get knocked on your ass. If you just stand there and take a punch, you're going to get knocked on your ass. But if you back up and you get a hit a little bit, it's going to hurt a lot less, and it's probably not going to knock you out. So always back up when they swing at you, and then push forward when you're swinging at them. They dodge and swipe at each other so quickly that my eyes can hardly follow their movements. Their speed is completely inhuman, and the more I watch them, the more my blood runs cold. Is it possible that they're really not human? When my mind flashes back to the redhead's sharp fangs, my stomach tightens and a shiver racks my body. Come here, Dom. I'm not gonna let you run away this time. With a menacing howl, the tattooed man leaps up, pushing himself off the wall to launch forward towards Dominic. Dominic is like, oh fuck. The look on his face. Sorry. He's just like, I wasn't expecting that one. When he doesn't manage to dodge in time, their bodies collide and they tumble to the ground. At this rate, one of them is going to end up torn open. If I try to do something, they might turn on me, but can I really just stand here? No, you need to try to stop them before Dominic gets super hurt. I have to say something. I got an achievement called Can't We All Just Get Along? Apparently not. Monster or not, I don't want to see someone get ripped apart in front of me. Dominic, stop. Just throw him off and run. Dominic seems to hear my words, but he keeps struggling with the violent redhead, who's clawing at him with everything he's got. Biting my lip, I watch the two men tussle frantically, their grunts filling the air until... Whoa, what's going on here? Gentlemen, can you put things on hold for a moment? And at that instant, the fighting stops completely. Isaac's like, what did I say? What did I tell you to? Didn't I tell you? A tall figure approaches us from the alley's entrance, his face flashing into view under the street lamp. Isaac? After frowning at Dominic and the tattooed man, Isaac turns towards me, his eyebrows shooting upwards. Oh, you came after all. Sorry you had to see these two at their worst, but I did promise Dom would be here, didn't I? So that's who Isaac was referring to. How the hell did he know that I had met Dominic? Wasn't that just a few hours before I saw Isaac? He never came into the diner either, so someone must have told him. Fuck off, Isaac. You're not gonna stop me from tearing this shithead a new... Before the redhead can finish his sentence, Dominic suddenly throws him off with a grunt. He slams against the ground a few feet away, letting out a pained wheeze. Chuckling, Isaac pushes up his glasses, looking completely unfazed. Really, Rex? You need to learn when to hold back. You're going to embarrass even your Helgen brothers. As if Isaac just flipped a switch, the leather-jacketed man seems to lose all his bloodlust. Instead, he groans and rolls his eyes, looking like a kid who just got his favorite toy taken away. Whatever, stupid old man. Ugh, such teen angst. After Rex mutters a reply, the electric tension in the air around us gradually fades. It's replaced by an uncomfortable, awkward pause, and the four of us exchange glances for a few seconds. But after the adrenaline cloud in my brain finally dissolves, I take a deep breath and turn to Isaac. Sorry to ruin the moment, but some kind of explanation for all this would be great. My voice, which cracks slightly with anxiety, breaks the long moment of silence. Dominic, Rex, and Isaac all stare at me, and now I understand how a rabbit must feel in a den of wolves. These guys, they're not normal. You know that, don't you, Isaac? When I pose my shaky question, Isaac throws a glance towards Dominic. For a split second, it looks like Dominic winces faintly, his eyes narrowing. But a cold, unreadable look soon washes over his features again. Yes, Sasuke, I think it's obvious by now that they're not normal. Isaac finally speaks up, and I shift my gaze back over to him quickly. You see, behind the spit-shine gloss of our beloved San Francisco is a much, much darker underbelly. One that people like you usually go their whole lives without glimpsing. He straightens his tie with one hand, an impassive smile flickering on his face. But once you get a taste of that darkness, there's no going back. For instance, if a hypothetical cute little diner boy decided he wanted to go tell the police a funny story, a tall, scary man in a dark jacket would want to make sure he never says anything else again. So in this hypothetical, is the guy in the dark jacket Dominic? At Isaac's casual threat, I glance back at Dominic in disbelief. His lips are pulled into a grimace as he meets my gaze, and I think I see a hint of guiltiness on his face. Does that mean he'd really kill me just to stop me from telling anyone about what I saw tonight? Of course it's all hypothetical. Humans like us can work with our vampiric companions just fine, assuming no one gets loose lips. Wait, then you're not a vampire? My shocked question makes Isaac pause for a second. However, he quickly lets out a laugh and shakes his head, adjusting his tie with one hand. Not really, no. Not like Rex and Dominic here, anyway. Don't lump me in with that piece of shit, Isaac. Rex silently protests from where he leans against the wall, glaring at us. Of course, I'm so sorry. Now back to the subject at hand, Sasuke. Just as Isaac rolls his eyes and starts up again, a pair of light footsteps echoes from down the alleyway. Several moments later, a short blonde rushes up beside Isaac, panting a little. Whew. Isaac, I'm sorry, Eh? Halfway through his sentence, Luca breaks off sharply. He stares at me with saucer-like eyes, and I stare back in astonishment. Luca? Hang on a second. Were you the one who told Isaac that I met Dominic? As bizarre as the whole situation is, the pieces are starting to fall into place. This little brat was trying to get me to tell him about shady types. In other words, find people who might be vampires for him. Luca's surprised, then flustered reaction confirms my suspicions, and he averts his gaze sheepishly. Yes, so? It was pretty clear you were trying to protect him. At that, Luca's eyes flick over towards Dominic, taking on a certain sharpness. He glances over at Rex with the same hateful look, too. Does Luca know both of them already? Alright, let's not get too excited. Oh, how could you ever, Isaac? Excitement. He doesn't even, have the energy. Letting out a long sigh, Isaac pinches the bridge of his nose with his thumb and forefinger. It seems there's some miscommunication going on here. You see, I'll split your fucking skull open. During Isaac's second attempt to explain the situation to me, an entirely different noise splits through the air. Oh yeah? I'd like to see you try. The not-so-distant sound of a fight floods towards us from a neighboring alleyway. It's not just two voices either. Actually, it sounds like a lot more than that, like a party of the worst, bloodiest kind. This is getting to be downright comical. Of course they decide to go at it tonight. Animals, really. Despite the scornful nature of his words, Isaac seems to brighten up all of a sudden. Damn it, why are the clans fighting now of all times? Is every vampire in San Francisco out here tonight? Luca sounds irritated, even though Isaac is obviously pleased. Some kind of gang war must be going on. The second I open my mouth to ask a question, however, Isaac takes off running, directly towards the source of the noise. Wait, Isaac, where are you? Luca starts to jog. I feel so bad for Luca. Luca starts to jog after Isaac with an exasperated cry, glaring at the other man's back. At the same time, Dominic turns to head in the opposite direction, apparently disinterested. His long strides take him towards the end of the alley quickly, making it clear that he doesn't want to stick around. Rex, however, makes a beeline straight for me. Just you and me now, baby. Don't be shy. Oh boy. This night just went from bad to awful in the span of about 15 minutes. But if I want to figure out what the hell's going on with these guys, I'd better choose what to do right now. We are going to chase after Dominic. Bye, Rex. Look at him winking at me like, just us. And I'm like, I left the stove on the other side of town. Bye. Dominic doesn't seem to be sticking around, and to be honest, I don't want to either. But he's already close to rounding the corner, so I have to hurry if I want to catch him. Some other time, maybe. Bye-bye. Rex is probably just like, what the fuck? Calling out nervously to the approaching Rex, I turn to dash after Dominic's disappearing figure. By the time I make it out of the alleyway, he's already heading down the sidewalk. When I jog up to his side, Dominic casts me a curious, skeptical glance. Hey, Dominic, right? I'm Sasuke, or Sasuke, if you feel like calling me from a distance, in case you didn't hear my name earlier. I attempt to start a conversation as I walk beside him, but Dominic gives no reply. Where are you heading off to? It was pretty obvious you didn't want to get involved back there. Dominic's like, I was just walking, around. With his hands stuffed in his pockets, Dominic hesitates briefly. I'm going to have a smoke. His blunt reply catches me off guard. He sounds completely apathetic, like he doesn't care one bit about the other vampires or Isaac and Luca. Ah, right. Could I come with you then? I have a lot of questions about all this, and I trust you the most out of all the guys I've met so far. After my tentative words, Dominic slows his pace and comes to a halt. He turns to look at me, his eyes widening a little. I didn't say anything weird, did I? For whatever reason, he seems surprised. Finally, he just shrugs his broad shoulders and starts walking down the street again. I'll choose to interpret that as sure, whatever, and not go away. Without any further attempts at conversation, I follow Dominic along a few different roads, heading towards an old part of the city. Around 15 minutes later, we come to an old warehouse. Its peeling paint and decaying exterior make it look like it's been abandoned for some time. Dominic ducks under a piece of rotting paneling, disappearing into the dark interior, and I quickly head after him. At last, after going down a few flights of stairs, we emerge into an open space that's dimly lit by fluorescent lights. The electricity's on. Wow, do people actually still use this place? Seems like it. Offering that insightful remark, Dominic leans back against the wall and slides down onto the floor. Sorry, I just popped my knuckle. Probably heard it. It was loud. He pulls a pack of cigarettes and a lighter out of his pocket, flicking the latter until a tiny flame sparks up. I can't read. Jeez. After lighting his smoke, he takes a long pull from it, then blows out a thin gray cloud. Are you gonna sit down? Dominic raises an eyebrow at me, jerking his chin towards the floor. Oh yeah, sorry. I hesitantly lower myself down beside him, pulling my knees up to my chest. This feels so awkward, and I have absolutely no clue what's going through Dominic's head right now. Well, I'll just get to the point. I don't think there's any use in making small talk with this guy. So, if I'm not crazy and everything that happened tonight was actually real, then you're a vampire? Dominic stiffly nods. There are more of them then. Vampires in San Fran? He nods again, exhaling another small stream of smoke. There's no change in his expression, and he just watches me with a look of mild curiosity. I pause and bite my lower lip, at a loss for what to make of all this. It feels like a dream, but there's no sign I'm going to wake up soon. And after what I saw tonight, I'm forced to believe something supernatural's going on. Damn it, I really shouldn't have gotten out of bed this morning. That guy Rex was a vampire too, right? Why does he hate you so much? At that, Dominic averts his eyes for a moment, grimacing slightly. There was obviously no love lost between them, but Dominic seems a lot less eager to fight than Rex did. He's from a different clan. Dominic answers in a guarded tone, his gaze hesitantly returning to my face. Clan? Oh right, Luca mentioned something like that. Rex is from a different one than you? Yeah, he's Helgen, I'm with Theyre. There's a small hint of disgust in his voice and his face darkens a little. He thinks the clans are like family or something, that they're important. Guess he doesn't see what a joke it all is. So you're not into the whole clan thing, huh? I get that. I always hated fraternities and shit back in college. My half-hearted joke makes Dominic crack a little smile, which softens the shadows on his face. When I look at his heavily lidded eyes, I don't see anything that resembles a monster. If someone had told me he was a vampire this morning, I would have called him crazy. He's quiet and awkward, sure, but he's not scary at all when he smiles like that. Oh yeah, before I forget, I really appreciate you saving me back there with Rex. You seem like some kind of superhero, coming to my rescue just in the nick of time. I shiver as my mind flashes back to the terrifying sight of those fangs right before they plunge into my neck. It's fine, I was just passing through. He evasively turns his head away from me, taking another pull from his cigarette and avoiding my gaze. Is it my imagination, or does he look kind of embarrassed? No, that can't be right. Talk about a crazy string of coincidences, though. I can't believe you know Isaac and Luca, too. When I mention their names, Dominic pulls a face, grinding his cigarette down against the concrete floor. He's like, listen, I don't like them because they're annoying. He's like, I don't like it. Hold on just 1 second, guys. I gotta check on something real fast. Okay. I don't know them. They know us. He grimly stares into the distance and looks like he doesn't plan to explain further unless I ask. Like, alright. You mean they know the other vampires in the city? Isaac does. He sells information and guns, playing both clans for money. That kid Luca is his sidekick. You shouldn't mess around with them. Dominic runs a hand through his long, messy hair, letting out a tired sigh. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. They don't sound like great guys, to be honest. I'm not sure why, but I feel sympathy for Dominic, even though he's not human. If I was caught up in all the craziness, I'd probably just want to escape too. No wonder he looks so gloomy all the time. No, he does. He's a little gloom. He's a little gloomster. Why were you out here tonight? His sudden question breaks the silence, and I glance over to see him gazing at me with interest. Does it matter? I'll just do I was looking for you. I mean, it probably doesn't. You know what? Let's do this instead. Let's save it here. Down. Wait, where is it? Save. Stop doing that. Wait. There it is. Okay. I'm gonna say I was looking for you. If I'm honest, I think it's because I was looking for you. He tilts his head in confusion at my response, and I awkwardly laugh. Isaac said something about a customer of mine showing up. A custard of mine. It's my custard. And I guess subconsciously I thought he meant you. I wanted to say thanks for the generous tip after all. For a moment, Dominic just stares at me with apparent surprise. Had he forgotten about the tip he left? Eventually he turns his head away from me, but I can see a faint smirk briefly flicker over his mouth. It was good coffee. He mutters something so quietly that I can barely make it out. Come again? Instead of replying, though, Dominic rather abruptly pushes himself up to his feet, turning to me with a more serious expression. He hesitates after opening his mouth, lowering his head a little. Isaac put you in a lot of danger. His slow, husky voice takes on a sharper edge all of a sudden. Humans who know about us are a threat. Rex will tell the other Helgen about you. When that happens, word will spread fast. Someone will come after you, probably by tomorrow night. Dominic's eyes narrow and he pauses for a long moment. Until they forget you and start hunting someone else, you shouldn't be alone in the dark. Okay. His words send a cold tingle through me, and a knot curls in the pit of my stomach. Troy's out of town for a little while, so I can't just take off work. And there's no way I can afford a taxi every night. And even when he gets back, who's to say they won't still be coming after me? I can't stay inside my house forever. Maybe I should just skip town. They'll find you before you can leave. Then what am I supposed to do? How can I stand a chance against... I'll help you. At his unexpected offer, I freeze, my mouth hanging open. Is he seriously saying he'll protect me? Aren't I a threat to them? Shouldn't he be working against me? But before I can ask why he'd do something so crazy, Dominic turns his back to me, murmuring a few last words. I'll come to the diner tomorrow. Don't do anything stupid. And with that parting command, he stalks off towards the stairs, his long strides carrying him out of sight in a few moments. I'm left speechless, standing alone with only Dominic's discarded cigarette for company. Alright, that's gonna be it. This is actually one of my longer videos, but I saved it there on that decision, just in case that affects what happens next, then I can just go back and replay it. Stop doing that game. There we go. Alright. Yeah, I love this game a lot. I hope you guys love it too. I played a longer one this time. It's like over 30 minutes. I had to. I couldn't help myself. But I love you guys very much. I hope that you enjoyed this. I know that I did, and I can't wait to play more for you and hopefully get the very happy ending instead of the frenzy ending, which I was not expecting. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!